Hello, everybody. I wanted to make a video that will walk you through the process of setting up lab number 6 and also analyzing the data that comes out of lab number 6. Lab 6 is entitled Bee Foraging Behavior Virtual Lab. It's a way to explore behavioral ecology in a way that normally we would do in the classroom, but of course can't due to our current learning situation. So when you get to lab number 6, you're going to see 4 different links. The first link is going to take you to the actual virtual lab simulation. What I would recommend that you do is if you click it for the first time, you're good to go. Every time you manipulate something or you need to restart, go ahead and refresh the page. But what you're going to notice is in this model, it is a bee foraging model. So to get the simulation started, you can press get set and go. And I'll tell you honestly, the model moves kind of slowly at the default settings, so you can go ahead and speed it up. Okay. And what you're going to notice is that there were a couple of variables that you actually can manipulate later on in the experiment. And there are several dependent variables from which the simulation will collect data for you. And it's these data, nectar collected, total time, and collection rate, that are going to be of most interest to you depending on how you choose to set up your experiment. The independent variables that you have to choose from really include flower distance, nectar amount, extraction rate, and then the bee foraging time for each of the 2 bees that are part of the simulation. All right. The instructions that you need for conducting this lab investigation are in the Google Doc, so I hope you find that information helpful. But in essence, what you're going to be doing is choosing an independent variable that you want to manipulate, and then using that manipulated variable, that independent variable, run 5 trials worth of, or collect 5 trials worth of data, and record that data in the spreadsheet. So here is my spreadsheet that I've been playing with. The variable that I chose to manipulate, just for the sake of this example, is flower distance. And I was actually able to manipulate flower distance by increments of 5. I don't know what the actual measurement unit is, but hopefully you can see that here. And that actually got me to 5 trials worth of data. So you want to choose a variable that you can manipulate in a way so that it allows you to collect 5 trials worth of data. I ran the simulation 5 separate times and literally just copied and pasted the data from the simulation into the spreadsheet. That's what you see in this table for trial 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay. Your values, of course, might be different based on the variable that you choose to manipulate. I guess actually I was able to do 6 trials, not 5. All right. The goal of this lab, though, is not just to collect data, it's to begin to make meaning from the data. So to do that, you, again, have some choices. What you're going to want to do is create a graph. This graph is going to be a little bit different. It's not going to be a bar chart. It's not going to be a column chart. It's going to be a scatter plot. And the data that I have used to create that scatter plot, again, are going to show the effect of flower distance on the collection rate of nectar by B1 and B2. So all I did was take the data from the tables on the left and copied and paste them into the table that you see here. And then I created a graph. So here's that graph. What I wanted to highlight was just a couple of the attributes that might be a little unfamiliar to you if you've never used Google Sheets to analyze your data in this way. So first, I'll go here and click on Edit Chart. You're going to notice that I've chosen a scatter plot from the list. Okay, and based on the way that those tables are set up in the spreadsheet, as long as you select the data, the scatter plot will be set up for you automatically. Okay, of course, you want to give your graph a descriptive title. You want to label your y-axis. You want to label your x-axis. You want to make sure everything is clear, clearly visible. So you might want to change the font size a little bit. But really, these are aesthetics. We just want to make sure that we can see your data. Where things are going to get a little bit different is you're going to notice on my graph, I have a black best fit line and a red best fit line passing through my data points for B1 and B2. So the way that you add those to your graph, again, the scatter plot will already be visible. In fact, I can show you what it'll look like without the trend line. Okay. So to do that, to add your trend line, you're going to go to Series under the Customize heading. Based on the way the data is set up, you should be able to select each B that you're comparing. So here I have selected B1. I'm going to go ahead and add the trend line. You can change the aesthetics if you'd like. But we want to use the equation that's going to reveal the equation of the best fit line for the B's that we're working with. And we also want to add in the R squared value. This is the correlation coefficient. This is the goodness of fit that you read about earlier in the week. And by doing that, all that information will show up right or as part of the legend on our graph. So you can do that for B1, and then you can do that for B2. Again, you would select trend line. You can change the aesthetics, use the equation to show the equation of that best fit line, and select the box that will allow you to include the R squared value as part of the legend. Okay, so this is all the information that you need to include as part of your graph, but you're only going to plot one graph, so it's the effect of your independent variable on one of those dependent variables. You get to choose. And then, of course, as part of the lab write-up, you're going to use the evidence and the scientific reasoning to build out a scientific explanation that further elaborates upon the claim that you're making as part of this lab investigation. All right, so I will stop there. As always, if you have any questions about this lab investigation, don't hesitate to ask, but I do hope this video will be helpful as you set up and collect data for the purposes of evaluation.